in beautiful Mesquite, Texas. It's Friday night, and that means high school football. We welcome you to Lonview Game Day's broadcast of the Lobos visiting the North Mesquite Stallions. Stallions High School is just down 635 here from Memorial Stadium. If you've not been over to the Metroplex, close proximity. There's multiple schools that play at this facility, and this evening it'll be the Stallions who are the host. Myself, Tony Kirk, will be joined momentarily by the voice of the Lobos here on Lonview Game Day. Chuck Zacks had a little traffic difficulty getting over here, but he is negotiating the traffic and will be here, we expect, about kickoff time. In the meantime, our producer Frank and I will bring you a little pregame activity here.
That's right. Sorry about that. This is Frank Sides filling in for Chuck Zack just for a couple minutes. Hopefully I don't have to call any of the action.
Frank, you listen to at various times on Lonview Game Day, so you're familiar with his voice, but he typically handles the production side of it on Thursday night. The Stallions come into this ball game 2-4 on the season, 1-2 in district, and their wins were over North Garland and West Mesquite, and they're the definite underdog this evening to the number one ranked Longview Lobos. Lobos, no stranger to this stadium. They were here a couple of times last year, playoff games and regular season games both, so they are familiar with this facility, and it's kind of a home away from home, and it's on the edge of the Metroplex, so East Texas teams are used to rolling in and rolling out of Mesquite on a Friday night or Saturday afternoon if it is playoff time. This is not a big rival. Not a lot of times these teams have met. In fact, probably the biggest time these two schools ever faced each other, Frank, was back in 1988.
1988. I remember that like it was yesterday. No, I don't. I was a 7-year-old young boy.
25 years ago, Frank, in the winter of 87 and early 88, back when both of these schools were the big schools. 5A used to be the biggest, Frank, and in that winter, the number 1 and 2 girls basketball teams in the state throughout the season were Longview High and North Mesquite, and they went back and forth 1 and 2 in the rankings all year until at one point they saw each other in the regional semifinals and 1 and 2, and they still talk about the amazing game it was that night. Longview came up short that night. North Mesquite won, ended up losing in the state finals to Duncanville High School. But at that time, Tommy Aldridge's Lady Lobos, Donna Cap's North Mesquite Stallions were the best girls basketball programs in the state. Tonight we got football. Longview is a definite favorite.
I'd have to think so, especially with the way that they played last week, just absolute domination. And I posted a graphic on the page last night. This Lobo defense has made some adjustments at halftime this year and have allowed a total of 8 points the entire season in the second half of these football games. So the only issue with a team like this, that's as young as this is occasionally they come out on the road, big spots like this, and tend to start out a little sloppy, a little more penalties than we'd like to see. And let's hope that that's something we can get corrected here early tonight and have a nice, I don't want to say this out loud, but I might as well, a nice blowout win for our Lobo fans that couldn't make this trip tonight.
Well, that's certainly the expectations. And as we look across the way at the Longview crowd, which typically travels very well, and they may be fighting through some traffic themselves, a little smaller than you might expect, and I think the fact that this is somewhat of an expected blowout could play into the fact that some folks may have decided to stay back in Gregg County this evening.
Sure, and if you're watching the feed, go ahead and share it. Let everybody know, everybody that you can know, that we got some Lobo football live for them. Number 1 team in the state here on the road, looking to stay sharp.
You talked about that defense. I say every week, Frank, you really don't want to get in 2nd and long, 3rd and long against this Longview defense. They don't have big, huge defensive linemen, but they are so fast across the board. There are 11 men they put on the field on the defensive side of the football. Other than Lancaster, which is an aberration with their 16 state track titles, typically Longview is going to be the fastest team on the field on a given night. Certainly will be the case tonight against North Mesquite. But it's that defense in particular that shows the team speed. And if you get into obvious passing downs against this Longview team, they can rush the passer, and they have a dynamic secondary that loves to break on the football. When that ball's in the air, they tend to think it's theirs.
Absolutely, and with the Lobos as explosive as they are on offense, coming out and getting those early leads and forcing the opposing team to pass, it just gives that secondary much more time to eat all night. But while I'm thinking about it before Chuck gets here, we typically like to do this in the pregame, so we're going to go ahead and recognize our Lonview Orthopedic Star Foundation Student Athletes of the Week.
I'm going to let you do that so I don't butcher their name.
That's right. Rebecca Dragoo of the East Texas Chargers. She's a volleyball player out of East Texas. And Jacqueline Frazier, football player from Dangerfield High School. These are your Lonview Orthopedic Star Foundation Student Athletes of the Week, and we want to say a special thank you to the Lonview Orthopedic Clinic and the Star Foundation for coming on and being primetime partners with us for this football season. And as I'm finishing up, Chuck Zach has emerged, and he'll take it from here.
Is that what we call it now? Emerged? I like that.
Only emerged when you're coming out of a cave.
Chuck Zach is with us. As we mentioned, little traffic problem for him. He drops in here. And we appreciate Frank hopping on with us and getting us through the pregame show. The Lobos are already on the field. You can hear their fight song across the way via our field mics. The Stallions are in their Horsehead Tunnel down there getting hyped up, and it is pink night here for the Stallions. Most of the players either have pink socks on or the pink gloves. They've got swag with the pink on it, drill team all in pink, and so you can hear the music as they charge on the field. We're a few minutes away here from the school. Well, we've already had the school songs. We're a couple minutes away from the national anthem. We'll stop for that momentarily. But the good news is undefeated Lobos. Bad news is Frank shared with me coming into the game, they may be minus a couple of their offensive stars tonight. We'll see if they are indeed not in the lineup here at kickoff. Captains are coming onto the field right now. Looks like we've got number 69 for the Lobos. That is Luis Correa. Number 67, Blair Williams. And I'll have to wait and get that other number as they have now started the handshake process. And it looks like that may be 35 there. We'll call it Jonathan Lee until we can see otherwise. As I said, they are shaking hands. Officials are going over the pregame introductions and all. They'll get ready here and toss the coin momentarily, and we'll let you know who's going to start the game with possession. Chuck comes in here. He's getting all his material ready to go. As he has more to get ready. I have a pen and a piece of paper is what I have.
I came in hot.
Came in a little hot today.
I'm a little hot. I apologize for kind of screwing up the pregame, but
you didn't screw it up. I was in charge of screwing up this week.
Traffic in Dallas from Rockwall to here did not cooperate.
By the way, Stallions win the toss. They defer to the second half. Lobos get the football to start the ball game.
So there's that. Let's start with that part then, since we're going to get the Longviews on offense to begin things, and we'll set the starting lineup, it looks like, as we get ready for the opening kick about 2.5 minutes away. And it looks like, now Frank, you said was teasing about potentially maybe some guys not playing today.
Yeah, we're afraid Mr. Tatum and Elijah Johnson are not going to be participating tonight. So we'll see if that is indeed the case. That was the word on the street Frank got in Lonview this week.
But, and that may be the one place where they're so deep. I mean, seriously with Jonathan Lee and with Kelvin Washington, Brandavian Steverson, they may be deep enough there that while you're losing certainly one of the best tailbacks in the state of Texas, they may not necessarily – there are worse places you could lose players. Let's just do it that way.
Looks like we're going to have national anthem here, so we'll just take a little break and let you hear the national anthem played by the North Mesquite Band.
This will be followed by the playing of the national anthem. The color guard members, Cadet Serenity Manzano, American flag. Cadet Azaria Del Cadacle with the Texas flag. Battalion colors carried by Cadet Alexa Moran. Right and left guards for tonight are Cadet Dalia Garcia and Cadet Gage Smitterman. The instructor is Major Lynn Buckner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will have the national anthem played by the North Mesquite High School Band. Thank you.
All right, well, with the presentation of the colors, we'll try to give you starters before we get them all on the field and see who exactly we're going to be lacking. But here's a starting offensive line for the Lobos. Jax Norman, the 245-pound senior at left tackle. Mongo Williams, 250-pound senior next to him at left guard. Tavion Morgan, the 285-pounder at center. Jacoby Watts, 235-pound junior at right guard, although look for Blair Williams a lot there. Martin Guerrero, the 6', 250-pound senior at right tackle. Angel Ramos is the 215-pound senior tight end. DK Reese, a 6'2", 200-pound junior, is going to be at one receiver. Of course, 6', 280-pound Jalen Hale at the other. And I'm probably way off on DK Reese's weight. Let's get that probably down around 180. Jordan Allen, the 6', 190-pound senior, is going to be at quarterback. And again, we're kind of now waiting to see exactly who's going to be the backfield for the Lobos. It should be Elijah Johnson and Taylor Tatum, but we'll wait and see what we get when they come out for the first offensive play.
For a lot of the warm-ups, it was Kelvin Washington taking the snaps at tailback, and Jose Soto, who plays some in the backfield, some in kind of a H-back tight end position, was taking the bulk of the snaps and warm-ups at the fullback position.
All right, Mark Hernandez is the kicker. He'll be going from left to right, and this is a high, short kick grabbed at the 31-yard line, and the Lobos are going to get the ball across the 45 as Jalen Hale makes the return and then gets hit late out of bounds and almost looked like a little helmet-to-helmet pop contact, and Hale comes up a little hobbled as well.
He got roughed up pretty good here on the near sideline. They drove him all the way into the 10 area there on the near sideline. Obviously, they had scouted that pooch kick. They had Hale sitting right there waiting on it. He never threw up the fair catch, as you see a lot of times from that spot, and I think he's going to open the game with a headache.
Yeah, he got the ball out across the 45 to nearly the 50-yard line. Now they're going to walk off the additional yardage on the Mustangs, and they'll tack 15 on. So Lobos are going to get great starting field position all the way at the 45-yard line on the North Mesquite side of the field.
This is one of those stadiums where the sideline is very tight. There's not a lot of room over there, and they took him all the way to the bench area.
All right, so the personal foul makes it first down and 10. And on first down, they'll go to the grounds. Kelvin Washington sweeping right. He's got a little gap inside the 20, the 10, and down to the 5, making the 4-yard line as the Lobos crank off a 30-yard run on the first play of the game.
Yeah, they come out with two backs out of the gun, and Washington to a sweep right. Nice hold to begin with. Split the defenders, and looked like for a moment he was going to take it to the house. That's probably the biggest difference between he and Taylor Tatum. Tatum's got that little extra gear. He's probably over there celebrating another touchdown at this moment. Had that hold been for him, but Washington still with a nice start to the ball game.
They mark it down at actually the 6-yard line, so it's first and goal from the 6. Jordan Allen back to Washington on the ground. He's going to get inside the 5 to maybe the 4, maybe the 3.5-yard line, where it'll be second down and goal.
They'd gone back to the I that time with Soto at the fullback position. Just a I formation read play where you give him the ball. The hole was there in the middle, but it closed quickly. So it's second and go from the 4 at this point.
Lobos take the opening kick. They get a pretty good return on a short kick. They add a 15-yard penalty to that. 29-yard run on the first play from scrimmage, and here they sit with a second down and goal at the 4-yard line. They'll go back to the ground again to Washington. He's going to get all the way to the end zone, and we've got our first score, and it comes just a minute and 20 into the game, and the Lobos have a 6-0 lead.
Tight formation. Reese was the only receiver out to the left. No Hale on the field at that point, and so they really weren't thinking about passing football. They just wanted to muscle it in, and they get 6 on the board quickly.
Now, Kelvin Washington, who came into this game having gained 118 yards on 12 carries with 3 touchdowns, probably has a pretty good chance to eclipse his season total tonight, if that's any indication. Michael Fields with the kick for the point after. Andrew Tutt with the hold. It's 7-0 Lobos. We're 10:40 left to play in the first quarter. We'll take a timeout. You're watching us here on Longview Game Day.
Injuries aren't planned, and here at Lonview Orthopedic, we're going to work together with patients to try to attain the best outcome possible for them. We have the ability to treat all injuries for all patients and athletes of all ages. One thing I want patients to understand is that, I've been in their situation. I played football at Texas A&M University, played offensive line, I was a guard, and being an athlete, suffering injuries, and having that passion to get back on the field gave me a really good perspective on the other side of the line as a treating physician now here at the Lonview Orthopedic Clinic.
Well, that was fast. How about a very quick drive for the Lobos to take the lead here early, as they've got the 7-0 advantage at opening drive of the ball game. A quick 35 yards. They do that on 3 plays for the touchdown.
And by the way, Frank told us before we went on the air that what he had heard this week in Lonview, just some little nagging injuries that was going to keep Tatum and Elijah Johnson out of the game.
Well, that's not what you want. You don't want that.
This is the time of year you want to get healthy and let them sit and watch a ball game.
Fields with a kick down to the 15-yard line, and the Lobos all over that on the coverage. It does not make the 25-yard line. Buda Garrett on the tackle. And let's get the Lonview defense out there with a quick 7-0 lead. Billy Smith, Omarion Watkins, and Jordan Wright, although it looks like we're going to get Zarius Shepard at right defensive end. The linebackers, Jeremiah Rougley, Caden Brooks, Tadarian Boone, and Chase Smith. The corners are J.K. Curry and Jaden Simmons. The safeties are Willie Nelson and Buda Garrett. And they will face Luke Cedar. He's number 2, the junior quarterback from North Mesquite. And on the first play, they're going to go a little trick. Back to the quarterback. He pumps and then keeps it and will not get away as he's dropped at the 18-yard line. That's going to be a sack for Rougley as they tried a little tricky stuff to start the ball game, and it's a loss of almost 5 yards.
Old-fashioned flea flicker there where you hand the ball to the running back and he goes towards the line, then turns around, tosses it back. Had twin receivers going down the hashes on either side. Safety bid. They had one-on-one coverage, but the corners had done such a great job, really know where to throw the ball with the 2 receivers, so Cedar basically was forced to eat the football for a big loss.
So it brings up 2nd down. They'll mark it back to the 16, make that the 18-yard line, 2nd down and 16. Cedar with a bad snap, came off his running back, and he's going to get dropped in the backfield for another loss. Ball came loose, but after the fact. And it'll be a loss back to the 13, and North Mesquite is heading in the wrong direction early.
Yeah, if you wonder why they start the game with such a crazy play, we've talked about all along how susceptible folks are to this pass rush of the Lobos, and so you're trying to do something to slow it down with the fake, and then you wanted to suck the safety in, and they did. They brought Willie Nelson up. He did not help with coverage, and unfortunately the corners did just too good a job.
So that brings up 3rd and 21. They'll go to the ground to just give up this series. It's going to be a maybe loss back to the 10-yard line. Looked like Watkins was the first one there. And it's going to be a quick 3-and-out for the Mustangs, which is exactly what they do not need against the top-ranked team in the state.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say disappointed. I'd say a depressing first series for the Stallions. Everything they tried was just blown up by this Lobo defense. It's tough when you get handled like that on your first series.
So down 7-0, they're going to have to punt. The punter is Luke Cedar, the quarterback. He's into the end zone. His kick is high and short. It'll come to about the 35-yard line and really doesn't get much bounce at all on this artificial turf here at Mesquite Memorial. It'll be downed at the 36. The Lobos, who started at the 35, had to move back a yard for series number 2.
Yeah, that punt set down like a Frank Sides wedge that time. It went high in the air and just came down soft and didn't move.
Oh, is that Frank's?
That's his specialty. I learned that in the pregame.
Really?
Short game.
All right, well, a great second field position for the Lobos now as they start at the North Mesquite 36-yard line, already with a 7-0 lead. And back to that play action. Jordan Allen looking long. Got a man. There's a little contact near the goal line as Hale couldn't quite bring that pass in. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, a little bit of glimpse of a year ago. The ball was a little underthrown. I'll tell you what, Hale has not looked right since that opening kickoff where he got kind of banged around. He comes up a little soft again this time. this may just be one of those weeks that the big dogs don't carry the weight. It may be some other players tonight have to step up.
All right, so 2nd down and 10, 36-yard line. Lobos already with the early 7-0 advantage. Defensively, we'll get them set up here for North Mesquite in just a second. But on the 2nd down, handoff to Washington. He's already got 3 carries. Let's make it 4. He's going to have a 1st down and more, and he's banged out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Don't see a flag.
Yeah, I don't understand that. He had given himself up and stepped out of bounds when the contact occurred, but no replay tonight. I just have to take my word for it.
He may have still had a foot in bounds when that hit came. It's going to be questionably close, but a gain down to the 22-yard line for 14 more for Calvin Washington.
Great executed play. The outside receivers are really the ones responsible for the long gain as they were able to hold their blocks downfield.
All right, so 1st down, 22-yard line. And another handoff to Washington up the middle. He's zoned across the 15-yard line, hit by the middle linebacker, Frederick Doty, but not before Washington picks up another 8, and it's 2nd down and 2.
We mentioned all year, these backup running backs, when they get an opportunity, they run hard, and we've seen that certainly from Washington here early in this ball game.
I know you guys probably can't see a clock, so we'll try our best to keep up with that. 7:40 left in this first quarter. 2nd down and 2 at the 14-yard line. They're staying pretty tight I formation. That's been standard so far. Fullback gets it this time. That's Jose Soto. And it looked like he got nothing, and then all of a sudden he squirted out of there. It looked like he was done at the 14-yard line and managed to get all the way to the 5, and it's 1st and goal.
Stallion defender came pretty much unabated and hit him right at the line of scrimmage, but Soto had a little spin move there for the fullback, and he spun out of the tackle and picked up the 1st down yardage.
Jose Soto, the 5'8", 160-pound senior, 15th carry of the season for him. 7:04 left and counting. 1st and goal, Lobos. Ball sits at about the 6-yard line. To the ground again to Washington. Finds a little hole, powers his way into the end zone. 2 first-quarter touchdowns, and it's a 13-0 lead for Lonview with 6:51 left to play in this first quarter.
Washington to the right, Washington to the left. Either way results in a touchdown and an early 13-0 lead here for the Lobos on the road in Mesquite tonight.
And Longview comes in having just an impressive resume on virtually everything, but when you start talking about where they sit in the district, they're killing folks in just about all the statistical categories. We'll get to it after the point after, which is good. Kickoff coming up. 14-0 Lobo lead, 6:51 left to play in the first quarter here on Longview Game Day.
At Godarzi and Young, we take things more seriously.
Every case that's handled at our office is handled by a team. That work and dedication has caused our office to recover more record verdicts and settlements than any other law firm in Northeast Texas.
It is our obligation to make sure our client has the financial backings and the manpower to be successful.
We are exactly who we say we are. We're trial lawyers who've gotten results year in, year out.
All right, welcome back. 6:51 left to play here in the first quarter. Lobos with a 14-0 lead. They picked up 5 first downs, have gained 71 yards in their first 2 series. They've only had to go 35 and 36 yards. North Mesquite's got 3 plays and minus 13 yards.
Ouch. They've got an offense that resembles Thursday Night Football in the NFL.
That's an inauspicious start. That's what you call that one. Kick is coming down to the 15-yard line. And running up right and left and not north and south. And the return man for North Mesquite, that's Marquavius Standard, falls down untouched after a 1-yard return, and they'll start at the 16-yard line.
I guess you give that tackle to the hash on the 16-yard line, because that's the only thing that was near him is he just kind of tripped and fell over. And the hard luck Stallions not getting a lot going early on here.
No, they've got first down at the 16-yard line. They trail by a couple of scores. 6:47 to play in the first quarter, and they're back on offense.
Cedar may be looking for Cordell Russell. He's their game breaker.
He's got 5 receivers split out this time on first down. Cedar's going to keep this himself, however. Lobos have scouted this and knew he's a guy who prefers to run, actually. He actually leads the team with 250 rushing yards on 55 carries. He's a pretty good passer.
Yes,
he completes almost 60% of his passes, 1,200 yards, or just shy of it, 12 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But he likes to run. He likes to spread this thing out and try to run.
He looked at the before-mentioned Russell that time. He was covered in the slot.
And if you're keeping an eye, the aforementioned Russell's number 5. Watch him. Cedar in trouble again. He's going to get dropped in the backfield for a sack as Billy Smith got in there and fell on top of him to complete the sack, and now it's 3rd down and long again, a loss back to the 13-yard line.
Russell fell coming out of his break. Boone just fell on top of him. He was in pursuit of him. Tell you what, when you can cover a quasi-wad-out slot receiver with your linebacker, Tadarian Boone, that's pretty impressive. That's how fast this defense is.
So a loss back to the 13-yard line, and North Mesquite's in a world of trouble again. 3rd down, and they've got to get to the 27-yard line, so they've got to go 14. Cedar again in trouble. He's dropped again. Billy Smith again gets there first and drops him for another loss back inside the 10-yard line, and it's going to be 4th down for the Mustangs.
And this is a big offensive line. As I watched some film this week, I thought, wow, this is a good-sized offensive line. The problem you have when you are basically going empty on most plays, you've got a defensive line that's just putting their ears back, and that is what the Lobos do really well, is rush the passer. And all the size in the world can't help you if they just run right by you.
Back-to-back sacks for Billy the Kid. 4th down in the end zone, punting time for Cedar. Lobos return man at the 40. They came after it, and I think they got part of it. They partially blocked that. Lobos will fall on it at the 23-yard line, and it's going to be another short field for Lonview.
I'll tell you what, a little scary moment there. It looked like Curry was going to try to scoop it up, and the thing had come off the partial block as a knuckleball, and he got away from Curry. Fortunately for him, I'm trying to think, was that Garrett, I think, who fell on it. Number 10 was able to fall on it and maintain possession for the Lobos.
So on the partial block, they record a very short punt of about 14 yards. Longview's got the football. 4:37 left to play in this first quarter. They have not had the ball on their side of the 50 except the opening kick return. They'll take a timeout. 4:37 left. We're going to stay here with it and give you guys a chance for me to catch our breath and for you to kind of enjoy the ambiance of Mesquite Memorial Stadium.
Well, what happened that time, number 7, you can say his name for the Stallions.
Do I have to?
I know. But number 7 came on late, and when they got out there, the coaches realized they had 12 men on the field, and the Lobos were about to snap the ball, so they had to call timeout.
Yeah, that is Daniel Nyarusa, who you're talking about, who's a 6', 215-pound junior linebacker. They've got some names that are going to be a challenge today. Next to him, Donovan Ciadros is one of his linebacker friends. In the secondary, 14 is Fajon Gilliard. 15 is Joel Inyang. So they've got some names to deal with. First down, back to pass, trying to go to Hale, and the pass was off the mark for Jordan Allen, who's 0 for 2.
Linebacker friends. Do linebackers have friends?
Just each other.
Nobody
else will talk to them.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
then.
Nobody else will talk to them. Rest of the defense for the Mustangs, Leander Parrish is one defensive end. He's a sophomore, 200-pounder. They are light on the defensive end. Terry Davis, 5'10", 245-pound nose tackle. Moises Garcia is a 5'9", 210-pound senior. When I went through their roster this week, 5'9" seems to be the standard height. Just about it makes Cordell Russell, who's 6'4", look like a giant. 2nd down and 10. They go back to Washington, who gets it to the 20-yard line for a gain of a couple, and it's going to bring up 3rd down.
Be interesting here. Obviously, having been spotted a 14-0 lead here with 4:22 left in the first quarter, 3rd and 8. You can think about 2 plays from here. You don't have to get it all on this play. But it might be interesting to see if Coach King wants to let his kicker come out here and kick a field goal in live action.
All right, we got 3rd down coming up.
King comes partially onto the field with some last-minute instructions for his offense.
Washington's the deep back. Hale's in the slot now as he moves over. Back to pass. Allen, he's looking that direction. He's got some trouble. He's flushed. He's going to have to run, but that's okay. 15, 10, 5, untouched touchdown from 20 yards away, but there's Laundry back at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like maybe they got a hold here on the left side. It just looked too good. He was able to run with no containment at all on the left side, and it looks like maybe the left tackle, if they had a tight end maybe, was over here holding the defender, and so they're going to bring that back.
All right, well, wipe out the touchdown. 3:40 left to play in the quarter, and the hold is going to move the ball back to the 30-yard line.
They had sent Hale on a post down the middle of the field, but he drew 2 defenders, so Allen realized early on that was not going to be an opportunity. And I think he just decided he had all that green over here on the near side, he'd take off, but unfortunately there was a reason that there was no defender out there.
Penalties the problem if you're going to have one for the Lobos. 13 of them last week. They've had 13 a couple times this season already. They can get rid of the penalty issues. They may never lose.
Yeah, about to run out of time. There.
Yep, John King trying to save another penalty, calls a timeout, and he can burn one of those with a 14-0 lead and 3:13 left to play here in the first quarter.
Your attention now turns to probably getting into field goal range to give your kicker an opportunity. Either way, you're not going to get a punt in this part of the field, so you either have an opportunity to go for it to try to pick up the first or let your field goal kicker take a shot at it.
By the way, the rest of the district tonight, Lufkin is at McKinney North. Forney's got Lancaster. West Mesquite is at Tyler.
Lufkin, who the Stallions lost to last week, what was that, 21-14?
It
hung around for a while in that ball game.
Yeah, coming into this, the district standings, Longview with that win last week over Forney now sits all by themselves at 3-0 in district play. There's a three-way tie at second, Lancaster, McKinney North, and Forney. So we'll work some of that out in the next week or so. They're all 2-1. Lufkin, Tyler, and North Mesquite are 1-2. West Mesquite brings up the rear at 0-3. All right, we'll try it again. Back to pass, Allen got a little trouble, and then runs into his offensive lineman. He's going to be stopped before he got back to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to bring up a third down in a bunch.
Yeah, I said there would be no punting. It still doesn't look like Coach is going to send his punt. Well, maybe he does here. They weren't expecting to take another loss there, and Tuts onto the field to deep snap, so that means they probably are going to punt the football.
And I said third. Let's make that fourth down. And it's 4th and 21 back at the 33-yard line. So they will bring Michael Fields on. There is a return man standing at the goal line.
Yeah, it's Cordell Russell straddling that goal line. Not sure why he's back there. He ought to be straddling that 10-yard line.
Here comes the punt, and it is a short punt. Let's see if the Lobos can get down there before it gets to the end zone. They do not. Had a chance to, but couldn't find the ball. And so the ball's going to skip into the end zone. It'll come back out to the 20-yard line. And with 2:21 left in the first quarter, it's got to feel like a win for the Mustangs. They didn't give up points after that partially blocked punt. They're getting the ball back at the 20-yard line, which is better than being back where they had been. You got to feel like if you're Coach Cedar, this is at least something to start from.
Yeah, a chance to hit the reset button here for them. Try to get something going here before the quarter's over.
All right, so with 2:21 left, they'll go back on offense, and here comes the Lobo defense. Billy Smith so far has been unblockable. On first down, they're going to go a little reverse, and in the backfield, blowing the tackle, couldn't quite hold on, was LaQuavian Jackson, but he blew the whole thing up, and that's going to be a loss back to about the 15-yard line. That was where forward progress was stopped on another just unsuccessful offensive attempt for the Mustangs.
Well, they had not been able to get their playmaker Russell the ball via pass, and so they decided to start the series with him on a reverse play. It was a very deep reverse. He actually turned around and tossed it to him. And if you're going to take that type of depth against this Longview defense, you better be special with your blocking.
Caden Brooks hopping out of the game just in time. They're ready now to snap it. Cedar gets the snap and goes to the ground. And nothing there. Another penetration by the Longview defense. Pick your number. It was it's Shepard in there. It's Watkins in there. It seemed like half the defense got in there before anything got moving forward, and it's going to bring up third down, a loss back to the 13-yard line.
Yeah, these Lobos feed off these spread offenses. When you've got a slow developing running play like that, that's plays right into their team speed up front.
Landon Johnson, the tailback, with a loss of a couple. 3rd and 17 now. Blitz coming. Here comes a pass rush. Problems for Cedar. He's going to get dropped back at the 7-yard line. Hanging on from behind the play was Zarius Shepard, who gets his 4th and a half sack of the season to lead the team, and it's 4th down again with 45 seconds left to play in the quarter.
I think that was supposed to be a screen to the left side to Michael Gibson, but one man occupied 2 blockers in the back over there, and so Cedar really never had an opportunity to let that play develop before he was on his backside.
And again, Longview's got a return man back on this side of the 50-yard line, back at about the 40. Cedar will kick from about 5 yards deep in his end zone. They partially blocked the last one. This one they let him kick free, and it's grabbed by Willie Nelson at the 40-yard line. Stops, starts again, across the 30 and down to about the 23-yard line. Ball came out at the end, and I think the Lobos may have fallen back on it. Yep. Let's see.
I think they've got it.
No, they did not. Actually, number 12 came out of there with it for the folks from North Mesquite. That's Trenton Tubbs, backup quarterback and linebacker, who gets the fumble recovery. And so, again, the Lobos make a little mistake, and it costs them a great field position at about the 23-yard line as Willie Nelson coughed up the ball.
Yeah, there's a knock on Willie. He's had a couple of these on punt returns this year. One of them, he was a punt he probably shouldn't even have fielded. This one, he had plenty of time to field it, took off, got a big gain, only to cough it up at the end and leave 2 seconds on the board here in the first quarter.
All right, so the last play of the first quarter coming up now. 14-0 lead. Handoff and a little tricky stuff. Cedar's going to get the ball and try to go long. Lobos have guys back there, and it's knocked down. Closest man to it, J.K. Curry, who knocks it down at the 37-yard line, and he knocks down the end of the first quarter with it. 14-0 Lobos with the lead. We'll take the break. We're coming back for the second quarter here on Game Day.
And now at Orr, we want to buy your used vehicle and we'll give you guaranteed top dollar for yours. And if you prefer to trade, even better, with massive savings on every new vehicle at Orr Cadillac GMC in Longview.
In life, some things just go together, like a burger and fries. And home and auto insurance from State Farm. Combine and save.
Talk to State Farm agent Charlene Ingram today.
Well, that was about as dominating a quarter as you're going to get. Lobos offensively, 70 yards. They did have a turnover, and they did end up having a penalty that cost them potentially more points. But on the other side, North Mesquite's run 9 plays. They have a total of minus 33 yards of offense.
Yeah, had they not had to give the ball up on the short field punt and then mishandle the other punt, they were on a pace for about 84 tonight.
Well, I tell you what, we'll start the second quarter. How about a little roll call, Lobo fans? If you're watching us here on Game Day, you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, let us know who you are, what class you're from, and where you're watching. And on the first play of the second quarter, there's the guy you talked about, Cordell Russell, and he's going to take this thing all the way to the house, a 84-yard pitch and catch from Cedar, and all of a sudden the Mustangs are right back in this.
Yeah, if you'd seen highlights on this year, he's the guy. He's their playmaker. I think he bobbled that ball, and it almost looked like it threw the timing of the defense off. As he bobbled the ball a couple times, it caused the pursuit to take a funky angle at him, and he was able to get away and just run away from the Lobos. Not many guys are going to do that.
Now the number 1 ranked Lobos give up an 84-yard pass play on the second quarter's first play. Here's Mark Hernandez for the point after, trying to make it a 14-7 ball game. His kick is up, and he missed it, shanked it off to the right, so it stays 14-6 with 11:47 left to play in this first half. We're going to take a break. We'll come right back to Longview Game Day.
House party? We got you covered. Office meeting? Come on, treat them right. Game day? You know we're here for it. Get your taco, nacho, or fajita bar today, only at Juicy's Taco.
Howdy, East Texas. Neil McCoy here for Patterson Nissan in Longview, home of the free lifetime warranty. Shopping for a pre-owned vehicle has never been easier. Just head over to PattersonCars.com and you'll find over 1,400 quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, many certified pre-owned and backed by the Patterson Lifetime Warranty. And you can buy with confidence because each one has to pass a 167-point inspection before it's listed for sale. Log on and find your new-to-you pre-owned car, truck, or SUV at PattersonCars.com.
All right, welcome back. 11:47 left to play. 84-yard pitch and catch. Touchdown number 13 of the season for Luke Cedar. And for Cordell Russell, he actually came into this game 31 catches, 731 yards, and 23-yard average. He upped the average some with that one. Kick down to the 5-yard line. And out 35, got a flag down, though, back at the 38-yard line. Kelvin Washington may take this all the way to the house and may have to walk it back. He looks back at the defender, but there's a flag down back at the 38-yard line. And again, if it's on the Lobos, the penalties just keep rearing their heads.
Yeah.
They were such a talented team. They overcome them, but they just made life a little more difficult. Instead of getting a free 6 points on that kick return, they may be walking this back and having to start a series all over again back around the 20-yard line, or 30-yard line.
And you've got your starting running back for the night winded now. He
Yeah.
just ran the length of the field. So Steverson or somebody else may have to step up to play this series, but we'll see how that is. For right now, they'll be 5 yards closer to the goal line when they kick off this time. Well, now, what do they call?
Well, how about this? She had offsetting penalties.
Wow.
I think he had offsides on the kicking team and holding, face mask, I'm sorry, and a penalty on the Lobos. So instead of having to start at the 30, they're going to make him re-kick the whole thing and do it again.
Yeah, I got confused there when I saw him walking the ball up. I thought, well, that doesn't make sense. That should have been on the defense, and they should have maintained possession. But on the receiving team, and we'll see. It looks like they're going to send Willie back instead of Washington. It may be Hale that actually drops back.
Who took a pretty big hit on the opening kick, a short kick. He got banged as he went out of bounds. Lobos, by the way, come in this as a +8 in turnover, so that fumble that Willie had earlier on the punt return moves the number for them back to +7. Short kick, it bounces around. Lobos having struggles with it, and they're going to get it at around the 37-yard
Stewart,
line.
I think.
Actually, it's Jacoby Granville.
Oh, Granville, he's got 23, not 27.
Yeah, Granville scooped it up and finally fell on it at the 37-yard line. So Lobos, who came out of the gate so fast, looking a little shaky right now. See if they can't reestablish themselves at the 36-yard line.
Well, they're going to start with good field position, not as good as it would have been had they not had the penalty and they got the 6 points. But either way, good field position. Allen will have to settle his troops down.
This is the first play that's going to be run on this side of the 50-yard line. First down and 10, 36-yard line. Jordan Allen at quarterback. He has yet to complete a pass. He's not going to on this play as he goes to the ground. That is Steverson, Brendavian Steverson. He goes across the 45 to the 44-yard line and rips off a 20-yard gain on his first carry.
Continue to beat this drum. These backs, when given an opportunity, are really going to run hard. That time Steverson kind of came out of his shoe. A little bigger back than Washington. Washington was on the field that time. He went over to the slot position. We see Taylor Tatum do that a lot when it's he and Johnson in the backfield. It'll be the same way this time as Washington will go out to the slot on the right side.
11:15 to play in the half. First down and 10, 45-yard line. Back to the ground again. This time nothing doing as he's dropped in the backfield. That's going to be a loss of a couple. First really positive play Terry Davis has made today as we call his name, the defensive tackle. We said he was the big guy in the line at 245 pounds, and he knocks Steverson back for a yard loss.
Allen looks to the sideline. He's looking at Coach King and his assistants, figure out what they want him to do this time.
Second down, 11 coming up. Hale's going to split out near side. Up top, DK Reese. He's got man coverage over there with Kyron Arrington. Hale in motion. And they're showing zone on first down. They're going to throw instead, and it's dropped. In and out of the hands of Reese, and he was looking to start running before he caught it. He can't hang on to it. It's third down and 11.
Yeah, a little bubble screen out there. They had brought the Hale over there to be in the slot, and he was in position to block and really free Reese. Looked like he had an opportunity for another big play if they had been able to run that smoothly, but he bobbles it and then drops it.
Third down, up and coming for the Lobos. Kind of lost a little of their mojo, it feels like. They need that. That kick return would have been it. It would have got them back in there. Washington back in the game. He goes in motion. Allen back to pass, looking middle, flushed, gets away from a defender, and will try to go forward. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage, the 45-yard line, so it's not a sack, but it's going to bring up fourth down in about 10.
Yeah, and somewhere there's an offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach sitting up here in the booth that's just feeling a little squirmish right now when he saw his quarterback drop that shoulder like that.
Yeah. All right, well, after 2 short field touchdown drives, the Lobos have had to punt here in consecutive drives, and they'll have Michael Fields back at the 40-yard line. Fields had 1 punt last week. He's had 2 in this half. And this one will hit at the 18-yard line. Lobos will watch it just take a 1-hop bounce right to the 17, and that's where the Mustangs will start again with 9:43 left to play in this first half.
It may just be one of those ball games where your defense has to step up and make a big play and maybe get a defensive touchdown or set you up with a short field. And certainly the Lobo defense is capable of that. On their last time we saw them, they gave up the big play themselves to Russell, who took it to the house.
All right, 14-6 ball game. 9:33 left to play in the half. Here come the Mustangs back on offense now. Luke Cedar, the quarterback. On first down, they'll go to the ground. Not much, couple yards, but that's a positive first down for them as Landon Johnson goes to the 19-yard line.
Well, they purposely drew the safety up into the slot. They know Willie is very active on run plays, and he likes to come up, make his presence felt in the running defense. At that time, they drew him over there to have to guard the slot receiver and try to run up the middle. And good job by Lonview not to allow him to break the initial line of scrimmage.
Go back to Patterson for a second, Russell for a second. The 84-yard touchdown puts him over 800 yards receiving. He far and away leads this district in that category. He's number 3 in yards per catch, but he may have passed Freddie Hawkins, who had a 25-yard average. His was 24. That one caught at the 25-yard line and finally knocked out of bounds, but it's a first down. And all of a sudden, a little swagger in the step for North Mesquite.
Good job that time. Jaden Simmons had left a lot of cushion over there on the far side. Cedar had to deal with a high snap, but as soon as he brought it down, he got his feet set, threw a nice little hook pattern over there on the far side.
That was Standard on the catch, Marquavius Standard. So first down at the 34-yard line. Cedar calling for the ball, back to pass. 3-step drop, toss a little high. He was going back to Standard again. It's a second down and 10.
That time, the receiver was trying to find Garrett, the safety. He was a little nervous that he was closer than he thought he might be, and that's why he didn't make a great effort going up for that. Second and 10, we always talk about. This gives the Lobos a chance to really put the pressure on.
Cedar's 2 of 4, 99 yards and a touchdown.
Caden Brooks leaves the field. Looks like Rougelet back home.
8:38 as the clock stopped on the incomplete pass. Cedar, the coach's kid, directing traffic here. His play clock's down to 2, 1, and he just gets the snap off in time. Up the middle, landed Johnson across the 35 to the 37-yard line for 3.
Determined to keep the Lobo defense honest, they decided to run on second and 10.
Third and 7 coming up.
Won't be surprised if we see a quarterback draw or a screen or something here as they try to deal with this pass rush.
All right, keeping an eye on number 5. He's on the near side. Curry's going to be picking him up. That's Cordell Russell.
Single coverage. That's what they've done this whole first quarter on him. First half.
Standard goes out far side. He's up top with Jaden Simmons on him. Third down and 7. They fake the handoff. Cedar's going to keep it. There's a flag down back in the backfield. As Cedar would have had a first down at the 48-yard line, but this flag came from behind by the white hat. You think it's going to be a hold, and there it is.
Yeah, we talked about the possibility of a quarterback draw. I don't know if that was by design or not, but Cedar saw immediately that he had the opportunity to go get the first with his feet unfortunately, he got a little help there in the backfield before he got going with a hold.
All right, so back to the 27-yard line, they'll spot this. And the Mustangs now are way behind the chains, 3rd and 17.
7:50 before the half. At the halftime, we'll have both bands presented by Game Day.
By the way, you were right about the quarterback draw. You think they'll go there again. 3rd and 17. They set up the same kind of play, in trouble and dropped. Boy, Jordan Wright got there in a big hurry, and he drops the quarterback Cedar back inside the 20-yard line, and they'll have to punt.
And I think he was looking downfield that time for Cordell Russell, and he was well covered. And I tell you what, it's just so tough when you get behind the sticks against this Lobo defense.
The Lobos have brought the pressure. I think that may be the 4th sack of this first half. I believe they had 4 last week. They're starting to rack up the quarterback sack. Cedar back to punt at his 5-yard line. Well, that snap kind of came up lollipop. Punt comes knuckleballing to Willie Nelson, catches it at the 48-yard line, and he is not going to get away. They'll call him down at the 48 as one of the Mustangs was hanging on for dear life down around his ankles. The Lobos will again start on the Mustang side of the field with 6:47 left to play in this first half.
Yeah, Willie was ready to make a move and get out of there, but instead he had a human anchor slapped onto his ankle there, and wasn't a whole lot he could do. Willie always makes it fun back there. That one, and we mention it almost every week, he's got someone standing by him, and he still tries to catch the ball and get out of there without the fair catch.
It's either no fear or no sense. I don't know. you judge that how you want to. First down, 48-yard line, I formation, and to the ground they go. Up the middle, Kelvin Washington backed his way to the 45-yard line for a gain of 3.5. Second down and 7 coming up.
Well, with 6.5 minutes left in the half, they're going to return to what worked well for them early in the first quarter. Their first 2 drives, it was basically Washington up the middle, to the left, to the right. And they start this drive off in the same way, just running right up the middle.
6:20 and counting here in the half. 14-6 Lobos, a fast-moving first half. Jordan Allen, play action, looking deep. Hale's broken for, he started to break free. He got held up by the corner safety back there, and he's kind of throwing his hand up like, you got to be kidding me. Frederick Doty got in his way, and that's really the official's callback, that referee's call, or was it just an incidental contact, or did he step in his way and grab him and keep him away from the ball? But they're going to say they just kind of ran into each other, and it brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, he was going to run that out and up, and I tell you what, he just hadn't had a live body since that opening kickoff. I don't know if he's just sore from getting banged to the turf early, but that time the explosion wasn't there. He got held up, and now it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7.
He'll go back to the ground. He's just a quarterback this time. Breaks a tackle, spins, and has the first down as Jordan Allen gets to the 37-yard line. He needed the 39, so he picks up the first down with an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, I didn't catch the set before the snap. I'm not sure if that was a zone read play. It looked kind of like one as he pulled the ball out of Washington and took off on his own.
Allen, by the way, who threw for a career-high 250 yards last week, is 0 for 4 in this first half. 5:40 to play. Clock running. First down, Lobos, 37-yard line. Kelvin Washington with the handoff. 35, 30. Got a good block out in front of him from D.K. Reese, and that's going to allow Washington to get down to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, Reese and Wright both did a great job of splitting the defensive backs over on that far side. Wright brought one inside. Reese took his outside to open up that hole once he got to the second level.
Gain of another 22 for Kelvin Washington, and that's 89 yards on 9 carries here in this half. First down, 15-yard line. Fullback this time, Soto to the 10, to the 9, maybe the 8. He leaned forward and got 7. It'll be second down and 3 at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, we mentioned early in the game, Soto typically plays tight end, H-back. But late in games, he's had some opportunities to run the football, and he's enjoying this opportunity tonight.
So Lobos have it at the 8-yard line, second down and 3. 4:40 left to play, first half. They're up 14-6. They scored on their first 2 possessions on 35 and 36-yard fields to have to deal with. Back to the ground. It's Washington across the 5. It'll be first and goal at the 4-yard line as he leaned right behind the big lineman, Tavion Morgan, Mongo Williams, and Jacoby Watts in the middle of that Lobo line.
And you're exactly right. Lean is what the Lobo offense is attempting to do right here inside the 10. Just lean on this big defensive line with their offensive linemen and trying to punch this thing in. You got 3 shots here and maybe 4 if you want it.
Now, clock rolling under the 4-minute mark now. First down at the 4-yard line. They go back to the eye, and again back to Kelvin, and again he's going to squirt his way down to the end zone for a touchdown, and it's now a 20-6 lead.
Yeah, Taylor Tatum somewhere going, man, you're eating up my touchdowns tonight. Tatum, who's put up a phenomenal number of touchdowns this year, is seeing Washington get them tonight.
Yep.
How many's Taylor got, like 14 or 15 of them already?
He's got 15 on the ground, 16 for the year.
Tonight, it's Washington, Kelvin Washington, who's getting those scores.
Here comes the point after try, Michael Fields. It is up, it is good, 21-6 the score. 3:53 left to play in the first half. We'll take a timeout. You're watching us here on Longview Game Day.
Over the last 10 years, our office has achieved many record verdicts and settlements. Our commitment has always been to outwork and outfight any opponent we have in whatever courtroom we find ourselves in.
At Godarzi & Young, we have settlements and verdicts that are unmatched. Whether you come face to face with the corporation or the insurance company, they know that if they don't justly compensate our clients, they're going to have to face the Godarzi & Young trial team in the courtroom.
All righty, welcome back. 21-6 our score. The scoreboard guy had us a little bit befuddled there. It took him a minute to acknowledge the extra point.
Well,
he was holding out hope.
Hometown guy, he's begrudgingly giving that point up.
All right, well, the Lobos now with a 15-point lead, 3:53. This is an important place for the Mustangs. They're going to get the ball to start the second half, so a score and a chance if they can get a touchdown here. As the kick is fair caught by Standard at the 19-yard line. They'll bring it out to the 25 with 3:53 left to play in the first half.
You're right. They would love to get points now and after the half, but right now I think more than anything they just don't want to turn the ball right back to the Lobos and give them another opportunity to score before the half.
All right, so Longview goes back on defense. They have already in this first half, with the exception of one big play, really shut down anything the Mustangs have tried to do. That one big play was Cordell Russell's 84-yard touchdown. He split out near side. And on first down, they're going to throw it to him. Same kind of play they scored on, same kind of try result as he just tries to go outside the corner over there. J.K. Curry, they got help and ran him out of bounds as Buda Garrett caught up with him, but not before it was a first down. They'll mark him down at the 39-yard line.
Well, see here, I was wondering if they got a stop or even a stop for a loss, if Coach King would use one of his 2 timeouts. That play went out of bounds, so it stopped the clock. It's a first down, so it's kind of a reset here to see if they're able to stop him here on first down. Maybe he'll use one of those 2 timeouts.
13-yard gain, first down at the 38-yard line. 3:46 left to play in the half. They'll split all the receivers to the right this time. Cedar flips that way and then decides to run instead, and he cannot get away from Tadarian Boone, who will drop him back at the 37-yard line for a sack and a loss of a yard.
Outstanding open field tackle. Boone was really the only guy over there who could make that play. If he doesn't make that play, Cedar's going to rip off a big gain and be chased down the field by the safeties, and Boone made the play. Good job by Cedar to realize early on he wasn't going to have time to get his feet set, so he bailed out of there a little quick, but Boone made the play on him.
All right, brings up second down and 11 back at the 37-yard line. Clock running down to the 3-minute mark. We'll see if the Lobo coaching staff decides on a timeout after this one. They'll pass it backward to Cordell Russell, but I'll tell you what, Longview was all over that. Boone ripped the ball out of his hands. Boone's going the other way with a touchdown. There's no whistle, there's no flag, and it looks like the Lobos are going to steal a touchdown as Tadarian Boone ripped the ball out of Cordell Russell's hands and takes it 30 yards for the touchdown. The Lobos are celebrating. The Mustangs are stunned, and it's a 27-6 score.
Yeah, that time Cordell Russell, Devontae Adams' helmet over there on the sideline as he just threw the thing into the turf as he walked to the bench after giving up the fumble and the touchdown.
Another touchdown for Tadarian Boone. He's got 3 of them this season now defensively. And here comes Michael Fields on to try to make it a 28-6 score. Boy, you talked about they didn't want a turnover. There it was. Fields hits the point after. Lobos up 28-6, 2:49 left to play in the half. We'll take a break. We're coming right back on Game Day.
Injuries aren't planned, and here at Lonview Orthopedic, we're going to work together with patients to try to attain the best outcome possible for them. We have the ability to treat all injuries for all patients and athletes of all ages. One thing I want patients to understand is that, I've been in their situation. I played football at Texas A&M University, played offensive line, I was a guard, and being an athlete, suffering injuries, and having that passion to get back on the field gave me a really good perspective on the other side of the line as a treating physician now here at the Longview Orthopedic Clinic.
All right, welcome back. How about a correction? For this whole first half, I think I've been saying Mustangs. How about Stallions? They're kind of the same thing. They're all horses.
Well, if you're from the Texarkana area, they've got the same colors as the Red Lake Mustangs, so maybe you're confused there. But it's
Stallions.
Stallions.
I apologize. This is what happens when you come rolling in right before kickoff. You don't have all your composure. Man, I apologize to all Stallion fans. And who's not a fan of a Stallion?
I could say something, but
I
will not.
I'm just going to say
I'm a Lobo fan, and so I'm not all that concerned about these little ponies this evening.
All right. All that being said, 28-6 is the score. It has been Lobos a lot early, Stallions a lot in the middle, Lobos a lot late here in this first half.
Trying to give an extra 5 yards on the ball going out of bounds. I thought they only got the 30, and they finally got it correct as the umpiring crew gets it set. 5-man crew tonight. Old style.
Old style crew indeed. All right, first down, 30-yard line. And handoff to Landon Johnson. Couple up to maybe the 32-yard line, and we'll make it second down and 8.
Kind of get a sense Coach Cedar would just soon get out of here and let the clock run, but they run another play like that, Coach King's going to call timeout.
You would think. All right, second down and 8.
Hopefully we'll get to see young Andrew Tutt in the second half. Some action at quarterback. That's been the MO thus far when the Lobos have a big second half lead.
You would think, although I don't know how secure you feel right now. Cedar going back, and he's dropped again. Billy Smith is going to want to play the Stallions every Friday night. That's 3 first-half sacks for Billy Smith. And I think the Lobos are taking a timeout now with 1:56 left to play.
Well, if Coach Cedar is just going to basically secede the last couple of minutes, Coach King will take an opportunity to score, knowing that the Stallions have the ball to start the second half.
That's a sack back to the 24-yard line. Billy, who's having a whale of a game. He came in with 11 tackles on the year, and his big claim to fame so far this season had been he's broken up 3 passes.
Yes.
Tonight he's got 3 sacks in the first half, and he's starting to challenge for the team lead in sacks. If not for Azarius Shepard's sack in the first quarter, he would be in the lead right now. Shepard's up there with 4.5 sacks, though, to lead the way.
I'll tell you what, that pack of Lobos get after you. And right now, you figure it's either screen time, draw time. You wouldn't expect them to try to throw the ball downfield here. Bad things would probably happen if you tried to do that right before the half.
All right, ball at the 24-yard line, 3rd and 16. Lobos still have a timeout left. Cedar back to pass. He's looking deep. He heaves it back there for Russell. Curry back there, and he mistimes it.
Wow.
Russell makes the catch. He comes down with it and gets inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Curry was there and just missed time going up for it.
Bad things happen to the Lobos as they are not able to defend that. Willie Nelson gets up a little hobbled. He came over late with safety help.
That is a 66-yard reception, and it sets up first down and goal for North Mesquite.
And Curry just had all kinds of opportunity to intercept that ball and never was able to do so.
All right, Cedar going to roll to his right, looking like trouble. Gets away from the first guy, not the second, not Billy again. Billy, stop. He's being too mean to Luke Cedar, and it's a sack back to the 18-yard line.
Stop? What, you don't want Billy to be a hero?
Billy is a hero right now, but he's abusing that poor boy.
Timeout for the Stallions here as they want to talk about what they're going to try to do here with a minute 20 left.
4 sacks for Billy Smith in this half. I tell you what, if 9 months from now there's a bunch of kids named Billy coming around, we know that there's been some impression from Billy Smith in the community in Gregg County.
I'll tell you what, if those class of 72 people are listening tonight, they got our Billy Don't Be a Hero reference.
That's right.
You got to be that old to get that. But I tell you what, a reversal of fortune here. John King takes the timeout, says to the Stallions, we're going to try to get the ball back and get more points, and Russell does what he does. He got behind the defender, but the ball held up in the air, gave Curry every opportunity to intercept it. He just mistimed it as you described, and they get the big play.
All right, second down and goal from the 17. Cedar getting rid of it this time. Looking goal line and can't make the connection over there. Is that Kylan that may be in the game that cut in front? We are a long way and 3 stories up, and I'm sorry if I misidentified, but I think it's Kylan Sublett on the play.
When Willie had the play on the long pass, he got up hobbled, went to the sideline, so they changed the safety, and I don't think Willie's back out there. Let's see, that may be him covering over here. Yeah, they may have put him over here at a corner.
Yeah, they have. We get a whistle and a timeout before we get going. I think it may have been Curry that came up hobbled.
Well, both of them came up a little shaky, but Willie hobbled back and left the field. But he's back out there now playing that corner position. You wonder if Curry's hobbled or after giving up that long play.
Got his feelings hurt. That happens sometimes.
Sometimes you have to refocus, folks. But either way, Willie, who played corner all last year, returns to what I think is probably his natural position. What he'll play at the next level is at the cornerback position.
1:14 left in the half as the clock stops with the timeout. It's 28-6. And again, we remind you, the Stallions will get the ball to start the second half. And even though they're down by 22 points, they could shave off 14 of that if they can score here and get the ball and score again. So while you talk about maybe getting guys like Andrew Tutt in the game in the second half, it really hinges on what's going to happen in this next minute 14 and the first drive that we get in the second half.
Well, nearly always John King, even in a blowout, likes to bring his offense back out for a possession or two, and one would expect that'll be the case no matter what happens here at the end of this half.
All right, back to pass. Cedar looking again for Russell. Takes it away, bobbled the ball, and let's see if he caught that inbounds. They're going to call touchdown. Russell just went up and took the ball away from the defender over there. And that was Buda Garrett who was defending on the play. He just wasn't big enough. Remember, we told you at the beginning of this, Russell's 6'4".
Yeah, he's an athlete. He's a game breaker, and he was the one guy, as I looked at film this week, said he can compete against the Lobos. Figure they're going to go for 2 points here.
And they look like they are. 28-12 the score, 1:09 left.
Tell you what, this has been a huge momentum change. It looked like the Lobos were going to get another timeout. We're going to get the football with the opportunity to tack some more on the board here in the first half. Instead, the Stallions answer with 2 big plays carried out by Cordell Russell.
Tell you what, Renee Green's being mean to me. We'll get no 2 points as Cedar goes down. Renee, all right, I admit it. I messed that up. It was not Mustang Stallions. Don't hurt me over it.
We got a North Mesquite critic?
No, probably so. Anyway, the point after, no good. We'll take the break. 28-12 is our score. There's a minute 9 left in the first half. We're coming right back to game day.
And now at Orr, we want to buy your used vehicle and we'll give you guaranteed top dollar for yours. And if you prefer to trade, even better, with massive savings on every new vehicle at Orr Cadillac GMC in Longview.
Welcome back. 1:09 left to play first half. 28-12 the ball game. Tell you what, North Mesquite's hung around a little more, I think, than folks anticipated, and certainly after the Lobos jumped out to a 14-0 lead early, this looked like it was going to be another one of those Lobo blowouts. North Mesquite could have easily phoned it in from that point in time. They have not. Give them a little credit so far.
Yeah, I got a feeling that even though they will go to the halftime with a double-digit lead, it's not going to be a kumbaya type of halftime for the Lobos.
No. All right, line drive kick. It'll bounce into the end zone. Kelvin Washington, who took one back for a touchdown, but offsetting penalties negated that. We'll get the ball out at the 25-yard line. So with 1:09, John King still got one timeout. No, he's got none of them now. That's right, he burned the last one over here on that last drive. So he's got no timeouts. He's got a quarterback who has not completed a pass yet. Can he get in field goal range for Michael Fields?
You would expect him to look downfield once or twice here. You got too good a receiver out there in Jalen Hale to be shut out in the first half. It may do a little something to try to get him a touch here late this first half.
All right. Jordan ready, 25-yard line, first down, 3 receivers set. They're going to go to the ground. How about Soto for 5-6 yards to the 31-yard line, second down and 4.
A little surprise there. I thought they'd take one look downfield. Let's see how quickly he tries to get them to the line, if he tries to get anything out of this, or if the Lobos are content to go to the half up by 16.
All right. Second down 4. They're in no hurry. Clock rolling down, 45 seconds and counting. As this first half is about to come to an end. Lobos, again, not in a rush. They don't have any timeouts. And they'll go back to the ground again. Kelvin Washington, 35-yard line. That's enough for the first down. Clock will stop as they reset the chains.
Well, once again, it'll be interesting to see if they try to pick up the pace here and get to the line and execute. They've got a moment while the clock is not running, but now it's back running again.
So first down, 19 seconds. Clock rolls again. Soto checks out.
Go to the gun with Steverson in.
Yeah, and they've got Kelvin in the slot spot on the far side. And they'll just go to the ground again. Steverson for 5 yards. He's slung to the ground at the end by Donovan Ciardos, and that will end the first half. So the Lobos jumped out to a 14-0 lead. They watched a long touchdown pass and catch and run kind of change the momentum. It got the Stallions back into this game a little bit. Lobos picked up 2 more touchdowns, only for yet another touchdown from that same guy, Cordell Russell, to make it a 28-12 first half lead. As Longview, looking to stay unbeaten and looking to hold on with a chokehold on District, has a little work to do in the second half. A little bit more work to do than you kind of anticipated when we started this game, but probably good for them, actually.
I agree. I think they're going to want to go in at halftime, clean up some mistakes, come out in the second half, have a good opening series on defense, and then go execute and score a touchdown or 2 in the third quarter.
Longview, 21 carries, 152 yards on the ground, 0 for 4 throwing the football. They've got 11 first downs. On the other side, North Mesquite, 5 first downs. They have 17 carries for minus 49 yards, and of course sacks are part of that. Passing yards, they have 6 completions out of 9 attempts for 191 yards, and most of those yards going to Cordell Russell, who's got 5 for 176 and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Rushing the football, Lobos, Kelvin Washington, 12 carries, 102 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's kind of Taylor Tatum light tonight. He's getting the yards, he's getting the scores that normally number 2 would be getting. Instead, number 20's getting them since he got the start tonight for Longview.
Band and Vuettes are ready to come onto the field. Looks like they got their props. This is probably their UIL performance that they're going to show the crowd here in Mesquite this evening.
All right, we'll be quiet. We'll let the band and the cameras do the work. We'll come back in a few minutes. We'll get you ready for half number 2. Live from Memorial Stadium in Mesquite, you're watching Lonview Game Day. Enjoy halftime.
And now, the 2022 Lonview High School Red Roses Performing Dance Pro Routine 2, I Want You Back. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lonview Independent School District presents the award-winning Lonview High School Lobos Band. This is the Big Green Marching Machine. Ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime entertainment, we proudly present the North Mesquite High School Big Blue Band. The Big Blue Band will be performing their 25th introduction entitled All, featuring the works of Alfred Reed, King, Paul Hinton, Franz Liszt, and Modest Mussorgsky. The section of the week is the Euphonium. Band members of the week are Alyssa Schaumburg, Daniel Guzman, Ariel Easter, and Billy Jordan. The banders and chaperones would like to congratulate the Big Blue Band on the UR performance this past Wednesday. The Big Blue Band earned a superior rating for the 15th consecutive year. Ladies and gentlemen, the North Mesquite High School Big Blue Band.
Welcome back. Chuck, Zach, Tony Kirk along with you this evening. We're getting ready for second half action, week number 7. Top-ranked Longview Lobos with a 28-12 lead over the North Mesquite Stallions. Stallions are going to get the ball to start this second half, so we got to keep an eye on things. This game a little closer than we all anticipated, but Lobos came out on fire to begin the game. They responded well in the second quarter when the game got a little close. Late touchdown made it a little closer than we'd like, but it has not felt at all yet like the Lobos are not in control of this game.
I agree 100%, but I tell you what, I bet Coach King and his staff at halftime said, let's really go out here and impose our will. We should not have let this ball game get as close as it is. You've got an opportunity here. Coach Cedar and his staff over at North Mesquite, I'm sure, have made some adjustments. They see some things they want to try to take advantage of. I'm sure the defense of the Lobos feel the same way. Maybe get a little over the help top on number 5. We'll see if Curry comes back out on him or not, or if Willie Nelson draws that assignment the rest of the evening.
How about some scores for you around the district? West Mesquite and Tyler are playing over at Rose. It is Tyler 7, West Mesquite nothing. That's a halftime score. And Forney and Lancaster, 28-6. The Tigers with the lead over the Jackrabbits in that district game. And who am I missing? Lufkin and McKinney North. That is 31-21. Lufkin with the lead. We're going to see McKinney North back at Lobo next week with the leading rusher in the district coming in. Here's the opening kick of half number 2. Michael Fields kicks it down to about the 11-yard line, and things are going to stop dead at the 20-yard line, and that is where the Lobos will come out defensively as Daniel Rosa with the kick return. And on the big hit at the end of that play, Javion Robertson. And it'll be Longview's defense coming out to start half number 2. Starting unit includes Billy Smith, who had a huge first half, 4 sacks. Omarion Watkins, Zarius Shepard, also sees some Jordan Wright out there, Jeremiah Rougeley, Caden Brooks, Tadarian Boone, and Chase Smith. TK Curry, Jaden Simmons, Willie Nelson, and Buda Garrett are the defense for the Lobos as they start this second half.
Curry and Simmons are back at the corners here to start the half. Willie's back at safety.
All right, so we'll start things first down. Luke Cedar, the quarterback. He's been staying back in that little shotgun-looking motion all day long. Again, into the backfield early. How about Billy Smith? He doesn't make the tackle, but he blows up Michael Gibson. Manages to get back to the line of scrimmage where it'll be second down and 10.
Yeah, if you're worried about where Russell's at, he's lined up here to start the half in that slot position, so he's drawn Willie's attention there.
Their offensive line's got some big guys. Dontavius Evans at 245 pounds. He's the left tackle. The right tackle's 320-pound Caden Bowers. He's number 75, and I think he's lined up at left tackle in this series. Jalen Johnson's next to him at guard. There's another handoff, and good for about 4 yards. Another carry up the middle by Michael Gibson. Matthew Simpson and Peyton Richardson, the rest of the offensive line for the Stallions. Their starting receiver, Cordell Russell, we said had 176 receiving yards in that first half. He had 31 catches for 731 and 7 touchdowns coming into this game, so he's added 2 more scores to his total.
We'll talk about how they're using Standard and Russell after this play. We'll see what happens here, but they've definitely made a defensive adjustment on where they go this half.
That is Marquavian Standard. Back to pass. Cedar in trouble. There's a hold going to be called as Jeremiah Rougeley was bearing down on the quarterback. Caden Bowers, the senior 320-pound tackle, grabbed onto him. And the incomplete pass would make it fourth down. Longview's going to decline the penalty, and it'll be punting time for the Stallions.
Standard and Russell on all 3 plays, twice on the near side, once on the far side, lined up next to each other with Russell in the slot. They looked like they were trying to set up that bubble screen that resulted in one of the big plays in the first half. Didn't quite go all the way, but that time they had brought the safety over the top and were doing press coverage on both those receivers.
Now Willie Nelson standing at his 45-yard line. Punting time for the Stallions. Longview needs to be careful. It's 4th and 5. They jump off. They're going to give him a free first down. Lobos held their water. Kick on the way. That one's a line drive over Willie's head, and it's going to take a Stallion bounce inside the 30 and down to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, a long line drive for a moment. Looked like Willie Nelson might have an opportunity to return it, but it was such a long kick that Willie had lined up too short, and the best idea he could do was just kind of fade away from it and get away from that football.
47-yard kick. So the Lobos will come out on offense now for the first time in this second half. Offensive line, Jax Norman, Mongo Williams, Tavion Morgan, Jacoby Watts, Martin Guerrero, Angel Ramos at tight end, DK Reese, Jalen Hale at receiver, Jordan Allen's the quarterback, and we've seen a lot of Kelvin Washington and Jose Soto in the game offensively. We'll start with a pass. Allen back to pass, and he misses Kelvin Washington. A little wide on the toss, and it's going to bring up second down and 10.
Yeah, a little rub crossing route there on the far side, and that time Washington was open, but that is a tough pass to make. That's all the way across the field there. And Washington is not as big of a target as Tatum when he runs that play.
Second down and 10, 0 for 5 throwing the football so far for Jordan Allen tonight. Leander Parrish, Terry Davis, Moises Garcia, Cordell Russell play some defensive line on a pass rushing situation. Donovan Ciardros, Daniel Nyarusa, and Kamaje Else are the linebackers. Dalen Hicks, Kyron Arrington are the corners. Joel Inyang and Fajon Gilliard are the safeties, and Frederick Doty's kind of a floater. They've got him with a dollar sign when they sent us a 2-deep roster this week. He's the money spot, I guess. But a penalty on the Lobos. They'll back him up 5 yards and make it second down and 15.
A lot going on pre-snap there. You had one of the defenders for the Stallions pointing like they had moved, but there was no whistle or flag. And then right before the snap, it looked like Washington had gone in motion and was moving towards the line of scrimmage at the snap, but that's not what they called. I'm not sure exactly what they called.
Got them on a false start, so we've got second down and 15 for Longview now. 28-12 ball game, handoff to Washington, and he is stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down up and coming now for Longview.
You talk about the adjustments. They'd seen that play a couple of times. Little counter action there that time, and they read it perfectly, met him in the hole, so now you got third and long. We've seen Allen be able to take off and get big chunks of yardage when he just takes off with the ball. That might be something that they have in mind this time. Let him drop back, look downfield, and there's nothing available. Just take off and go get it.
Both Reese and Hale will split out wide left. Haven't seen any of Freddie Hawkins tonight. All right, we're going to have a little waggle roll. Looking like he's in trouble, and sure enough, Patterson, who we talked about, will come in and pass rush, or Russell rather, who will come in and pass rushing situations, got there and got to Jordan Allen for a loss of about a yard back to the 22-yard line. Russell's got 3.5 sacks this year to lead the Stallions in that department, and he got another one against Longview here on that play, and it's going to bring up a punting situation.
Yeah, he's a little staggered coming off the field. I don't know if he got hurt. That's not good news for the Stallions. He's really their go-to playmaker on offense.
A loss of a couple. Fourth down and 17. Here's Michael Fields on to punt. Gets one way up, but not very deep. Hits right on the 50-yard line and takes a Longview bounce inside the 40 and down at the 38-yard line.
It could turn out to be a costly, big defensive play that time for North Mesquite, as Russell still has his helmet off and is being examined, looks like, by the training staff over there. He's going to have a drink of water and think about it. He will not come back onto the field immediately as Stallions take possession.
41-yard punt that time for Michael Fields. So at the 38-yard line, Stallions will take the ball over.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, without Russell's presence, they go back to the defensive positioning they were running in the first half, where they're just going to allow Woolley to take the slot man by himself and move that backer back inside.
8:25 in the third. High snap. They're trying to throw into the slot, and now at number 11 is Jaqueline Caraway. He wasn't looking for the football, and I don't know if it was intended for him or if it was trying to get out there to number 9, Standard, Marquavius Standard. Either way, neither one of them were looking at the football, and it's second down and 10.
Well, and after that mishap, looks like they've got Russell back onto the field.
Their offense really revolves around his big play ability. He's made 2 big plays in this game. They've gotten him 2 touchdowns as a result of it.
By the way, Caraway, I think, is also the backup quarterback. He's seen a little bit of action this year.
Second down. To the ground they go. Not much happening. Lobos all over that and trying to fight forward, and actually made about 4 yards out of nothing was Michael Gibson. and it brings up 3rd down and 6. And that's a big play.
Oh, sure.
Making that be a 4-yard gain instead of maybe a yard loss changes the play call a little bit.
Well, it changes the philosophy of your defense. You doubt if they attempt to run here, but it's certainly more of an option when they're behind the sticks.
7:55 to play in the 3rd, 28-12 the score.
Once again, they go to the press coverage up on the twin receivers on the far side.
Lobos flipping linebackers. Boone started to come, then stopped. Cedar looking deep, and he's going to let one go. Russell's over there, and again almost took it away from a pair of Sublett and Nelson, who were back at the 20-yard line, but he's so much taller, he just mistimed it a little bit himself that time.
Well, Willie was in position to make the interception, and similar to Curry's attempt to steal one in the first half, just mistimed the jump. I don't know if it's the lights here at Mesquite Memorial or what, but that's twice this evening they've had clear opportunity on a ball that hung up, but the Lobo defenders just hadn't been able to come down with it. Willie's still kind of kicking himself that he let that one get away.
Well, Luke Cedar's got a pretty good arm.
He
There's
does.
the punt this time. They get that out of there. Willie will call for a fair catch and almost misplays that as it went over his head.
Yeah, that was a baseball catch. You really get a sense that there's some depth perception problem for Lonview this evening here at Mesquite Memorial. We talked about earlier, this is a field that they're very familiar with. They played multiple ball games here in recent years.
All right, so the Lobos with 7:28 to play in the 3rd will take the ball over back at the 22-yard line. Almost the 23. 1st down and 10. They have struggled to throw the football today. They have not struggled to run the ball, at least not if you put it in the hands of Kelvin Washington. 102 yards rushing on 13 carries and 3 touchdowns. All those in the first half. Allen going to roll, then throw, and completes a pass this time. Couple of broken tackles, but taken out of bounds. Kelvin Washington at the 29-yard line. Picked up 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Short, simple, underneath pattern to the running back who was out at a slot position. Really kind of sense that they just trying to get Allen going there with that type of play. You call a play like that, make it a simple pitch and catch, and hopefully your quarterback gets a little more comfortable in this half.
2nd down and 4. Clock kept rolling. We're under 7 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. Man in motion, Hale. They'll hand the ball off instead. And across the 35, falling forward is Soto. He'll pick up a 1st down, a much needed one for the Lobo offense, and maybe for that Lobo defense too.
Nice block that time by Mongo Williams to kick that defender out and make that hole available.
All right, 1st down, 36-yard line. Lobos with a fresh set of downs. They had 29 1st downs last week. Pretty crazy number.
That's a lot of 1st downs.
That's their 2nd time this year they've gotten that number. All right, Stallion defense ready. Back to pass. Allen on 1st down. He's got all kinds of time. Now he throws. Got a man deep, 40-yard line. And to the house goes Kelvin Washington with his 4th score of the game. This one through the air. And a 65-yard pitch and catch gives the Lobos a 34-12 lead with 6:02 left to play in the 3rd.
And with Jordan Allen, it always goes back. If he can get those feet set, he stepped into that pass, really got a lot on it, hit the receiver in stride. He had broken away from the defender. I don't know if that was a variation of the wheel route or what, but he was wide open, and he did not have to break stride at all on that football.
Here comes Michael Fields on now. 6:02 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Point after try is up and good. We'll make it 35-12 with 6:02 left. We'll take the timeout. We're going to come back here on Lonview Game Day.
In life, some things just go together, like a burger and fries. And home and auto insurance from State Farm. Combine and save.
Talk to State Farm agent Charlene Ingram today.
Crunch has everything you need to find your mode. Come check out Crunch Fitness with a free guest.
Printing your photos just got easier. Just pick your size, color, and favorite photo, and we'll do the rest. Because your unforgettable moments are meant to be framed.
All right, we welcome you back here on Longview Game Day. We got one more road game left. Otherwise, we're at home for 2 of the last 3 weeks, including next week back at Lobos Stadium. If you can't be out there, you can be with us either on Facebook or on YouTube for a matchup with McKinney North. I think all Lobo Nation remembers last year's matchup here in the Metroplex against McKinney North, and kind of feels like it may be payback time next Friday night.
Definitely let one get away a year ago.
Fields kickoff will come down to the 5-yard line. That one almost stayed in bounds. I'll tell you what, it was a very dangerous watching of the ball by the deep return man.
That was Adams that time.
Chase Adams, who just watched that thing roll. Luckily for him, it took a left turn and went out of bounds. That was a live football. But the ball will come out to the 30-yard line after it went out of bounds. It'll be first down for the Stallions there.
See if the Lobos continue to try to play those two receivers a little tighter. That's what they came out in both series here begin this second half. We got 6:02 left here, 35-12. Lobos up big here, third quarter.
Landon Johnson back into the game at tailback for the Stallions. He's number 32. Russell, they're going to flip from right side to left side. Who's the corner going to come get him?
Well, right now they're arguing over where the hash goes. The ball went out of bounds on the far side, so that should have been set up at that hash mark. I don't know what happened, but the back judge came in to remind the umpire that we need to be on the far side as far as the hash mark to start this series.
A little do-si-do back and forth.
Yeah.
It'll be Simmons out here now covering Russell. Number 9 on number 5. First down. 3-score lead now for the Lobos. They'll give the ball to Russell. Little quick sweep. They did that once earlier and it went backward. This time it goes forward for a gain of about 7, second down and 3.
Well, they ran a similar play in the first half where they ran him behind the quarterback, did a deep pitch, and at the time I remember commenting, not particularly a great idea against the speed and quickness of this Lonview defense. That time that little jet sweep made a lot more sense, the method they did, run him in front of the quarterback.
All right, second down and about 4. And right away to the ground they go and nothing doing. Loss of a yard. Jordan Wright with the tackle. It brings up third down.
Right now, it's a little bit of a chess match since they pulled that safety over there. Chase Smith is over there right up in the face of Russell. They're trying to take advantage of one less man in the box to defend the run. So Coach Cedars trying to get his running game going a little more here in the second half.
Third down and 5 coming up. Another pitch to Russell. Nowhere to go. He's trying to get away and cannot. Well, Lobo defense all over him. Tadarian Boone was back there, and there's a handful of others. Jordan Wright lost his hat as part of that play as well, but Lobos have seen it 2 or 3 times now. They were not fooled that time.
Well, like I say, on the play where they ran it quicker underneath on a true jet sweep, they got a big gain on first down. By big gain, I mean 5 yards, but once again, they go behind the quarterback and pitch that, and it's just too slow in developing against this defense.
All right, 4th down and 7. Nelson back at his 35-yard line, came after him, and Tadarian Boone almost got that punt. Good punt that time. Nelson picks it up at the 32-yard line, breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, can't get away from the 3rd guy, and it'll be first down Lobos at the 36-yard line.
Fortunately, we got a North Mesquite player down. It looks like he's going to hop up. That's number 45 for them. That's Terry Davis. The problem for Willie that time was we're going to send everybody on the rush, so you had no wall to get set up. You didn't have anybody fading back to set up a wall for a return, and Willie's pretty much back there by himself dancing around.
All right, Lobos will take it back. We talked about getting maybe to see some second-team guys in this second half. It may not happen until the 4th quarter. This game probably a little too close still for John King's liking. Ball at the 35-yard line, first down and 10. Back to pass, Allen. He's going to try to get one up deep to Hale. Got the ball at the 30-yard line, knocked out of bounds at about the 20, although they'll follow him a little further out than that. It looked like the 20-yard line, but they'll mark him at the 15-yard line instead.
Just a tad too much air under that would allow the defense to get back into play. Allen ran a great route. He was wide open. 2 defenders over there. He had safety help, but just an excellent route by Hale, and Allen, like I say, would have probably had a little flatter pass and maybe been able to hit him in stride like he did previously with Washington, but nonetheless, excellent pitch and catch, and it's good to see Jordan Allen begin to execute the passing game here in the second half.
50-yard gain on the play. First down at the 15-yard line. Steverson in, fake it to him. Instead, they're going to go back of the end zone, and not quite able to get there is Hale.
Yeah, Hale was asking for a little help there from the officials. He wasn't going to get any.
Yeah, Longview was asking for flags. Offensive linemen were asking for flags, and none of them are getting flags as the cornerback there, and I believe that was Arrington, all over Hale, and it's second down and 10.
Yeah, strange little play. Hale had gotten behind the defender, and it really wasn't that bad a pass, just a tad out in front of the receiver that time. It almost looks to me like Allen is wearing a flak jacket this week. He's a little thicker around the midsection than he usually looks.
Lobos will take a timeout. It comes with 3:10 left to play in the third quarter. 35-12 the score. We're going to stay here during the timeout. And, of course, remind you next week, Lobos holding on to this lead. If they can hold it out for another quarter and 3 minutes, they will be continuing to be the number 1 team in the state in 5A Division I, and they will get a visit from McKinney North next week. And McKinney North is going to come in with some interesting stuff. They are leading the district in rushing offense with 312 yards a game that they're averaging. And they've got the district's leading rusher, and I've gotten papers all over the place and probably not going to have it easy enough to find right now. But
you got a puppy over there? You got to get papers everywhere?
I got papers everywhere. I got 3 puppies, but none of them are with me right now. His name's Jaden Walker. Jaden Walker's already run for almost 1,400 yards and 13. He's averaging 230 a game by himself.
Well, hopefully the Lobos could stop all that jaywalking.
Yeah, well, Jay run it. Second down and 10, 15-yard line. Hale in motion. Back to pass. They'll fake one. Oh, there's Hale. Broke wide open. They ran that play earlier, and there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage, and now there's a little bit of back and forth jawing. Jamerson Derensburg is back there for the Lobos. They got tangled up at around the 5-yard line, and now Lobo coaches came out on the field, and the officials are trying to get them off the field.
Yeah, what you got to worry about is players coming on the field. Coaches are allowed to come out and break things up, but those players are not allowed to come out there. Tell you what, great job. Pump fake, got the safety to bite, and that allowed Hale just to get behind everybody that time. Looks like, let's see, that's Dardensborg who is heading to the sideline. I don't know if he got told he can't play anymore or what the call is.
I don't know, but we're waiting for the official to tell us if a touchdown stands or not. Again, there was a flag way by. You can see the flag down at about the 19-yard line.
And that could be possibly some roughing the passer where that is. No
shot block.
Wow. Unusual to see that on a pass play. Typically you see that on some type of running play.
Well, they take the touchdown off the board, and the Lobos are going to have some more work to do. Instead of ball at the 15-yard line, they're going to be marched backward. And Hale loses his touchdown catch, and Allen loses his touchdown pass.
We apologize to you, Steve. We're on the road. We don't have the capacity to do the replays tonight, but it was a beautiful pump fake that for a moment looked like 6 points, but instead they're going to take them off the board.
And we had said they ran that play similar. They set up this play with a play they had done earlier where they threw that little tunnel screen out to DK Reese with Hale blocking. They set up the exact same play. The corner that was covering Hale went to Reese, anticipating that same play, and Hale ran by him wide open for what for a moment was a touchdown. Instead, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty for the chop block, and they'll go back to the 30-yard line where we'll replay second down.
Even with them taking the points off the board, once again, good to see Allen executing plays in the passing game.
Back to pass, Allen again. Hale with an in, then out move. He's wide open at the goal line. We get it on a play later. Well, Hale made the fake like he was running a post, and he broke it back toward the pylon at the corner of the end zone. And sure enough, wide open. Hale delivers it, and they get the touchdown anyway to make it 41-12.
And I'm sure somebody sitting at home going, wow, he kind of underthrew that. But at the same time, when you're throwing into the end zone, you don't want to throw it out the back. You want to give your receiver an opportunity to stop and make a play. That time, Hale did just that. He's an outstanding receiver. Alabama commit, just did a good job to help his quarterback.
Point after by Fields, up and good. Where Jordan Allen had struggled, he was 0 for 5 to start with. He has come out and hit 4 of his last 6. We'll take a break. Lobos 42, Stallions 12. 2:57 to play here in the third on game day.
And now at Orr, we want to buy your used vehicle and we'll give you guaranteed top dollar for yours. And if you prefer to trade, even better, with massive savings on every new vehicle at Orr Cadillac GMC in Lonview.
Welcome back. 2:57 left to play. Chuck, Zach, Tony Kirk with you here on Longview Game Day. I know folks on Facebook are asking for replay, and we'll reiterate what you said just a minute ago. On the road, we don't have the capacity to be able to do replay for you, and we apologize. We know you love it at home, and when we do home games, you get to see those things in multiple angles. We just don't have that capacity here on the road to do it, and so we apologize. I guess we spoiled you at home.
Of course we spoiled them. We try to anyway.
Here's a kickoff, and again, Chase Adams going to watch this one roll out of bounds. That's 2 in a row now that Michael Fields has kicked out of bounds, and he'll come out to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, a week ago you saw the team from Forney just call fair catches on kickoffs. This week it seems as if North Mesquite is content to let it just go out of bounds and not try to return it, get the ball at the 30-yard line.
Now Lobos, now remember, and I wasn't here for the pregame, unfortunately, but Longview has not given up a fourth quarter point so far this year. 6 games into this season, no one has scored in the fourth quarter against this Lobo defense.
Is that a challenge?
It's a challenge. They've only given up 8 second-half points, period, all year. Another toss out to Russell, going nowhere. And we got flags out again.
And Willie got into it with somebody on the sideline over there, and that's going to create a first down for North Mesquite. You hate to see a 42-12 ball game get marred by some jawing and misbehavior.
It's actually a 4-yard loss on the play. Now the Stallions are all pointing that it's a penalty on Longview, and if that's the case, this will be a first down for the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. If it's against both teams, they may just wave it off, and we'll see.
Well, the Wild Hat's getting ready to tell us exactly what he plans to do.
There it is. So I call it on Willie. He gets the unsportsmanlike, and they'll walk him up 15 yards and give him a first down.
Well, what happened over there is you got a player blocking on him down the field, and he took exception to it. A little mouthing going on over there still with the North Mesquite players talking to the sideline. And being the sideline of the Lobos.
Back to pass, Cedar, deep drop this time. He's in trouble. Usually he just about had him. Instead, he gets hit hard and goes forward for a few yards. So with the Lobo fans, there aren't a ton of them here, and this is such a huge stadium, but they are making a lot of noise across the field right now.
Well, Standard and I think one of the other players on North Mesquite were pointing to their crowd, or pointing to the Lonview crowd, kind of talking a little smack after that penalty, and that fired up the Lobo faithful.
All right, well, we've got second down, about 12 coming up. I'll go back to the ground this time. Little bit of room, and back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's all she wrote. And third down's up and coming. A couple of yards for Landon Johnson.
Nelson's out of the ballgame. I don't think he got ejected. Maybe he just got an opportunity to cool down on the far side.
All right, we got 3rd down and 10 coming up. 1:23 to play in the 3rd quarter. Luke Cedar looking to his left, but we got flags down before then. I don't know if they ran out of time or somebody moved. Yeah, they're going to say somebody moved. False start on the Stallions, and so it'll bring up 3rd down and now back to 15.
Yeah, 3rd and 10 is difficult enough, and Willie's checking back in here on an obvious passing down as he'll relieve Granville, who'll go back to the sideline.
42-12 the score. And here on 3rd down and 15, Cedar back to pass, steps up, gets away from one defender, and then Boone, and then knocked down by Chase Smith, way short of the 1st down at the 47-yard line. It'll bring up 4th down.
Similar to the play in the first half that Boone made the outstanding open field tackle on Cedar. That time he kind of gave him the hip and took it away and got by him. But as you described, Smith quickly filled in and came up from his safety position, outside linebacker, and stopped the play as punting unit comes onto the field.
Yeah, that 5-yard penalty really hurt the Stallions. They probably are close to a 1st down if they don't have that 5-yard motion penalty right before.
Hernandez back to kick.
And so you got 4th down and about 7. Hernandez ready, boots this one end over end. Fair catch called for. Willie's going to make that at the 20-yard line.
Am I mistaken? Did Cedar start out punting in this game?
I think he did. They've gone to, and they've actually got three different kickers. They've got Mark Hernandez, they've got George Flores, and they've got Luke Cedar. And Cedar actually has the longest field goal of that group. He's kicked a 40-yarder. All right, Frank wants a timeout because the quarter's over. 42-12 the score. We'll take a break. We'll come back for the 4th quarter when we return here on Longview Game Day.
In Longview, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Charlene Ingram for your insurance and financial needs.
Don't fumble when you're looking for your next trailer. At R&J Trailers, we got the hookup. Cargo Mate, Hallmark, Text Line, Diamond C. We've got the inventory selection to get you into the end zone. Snap into savings with R&J Trailers. Don't pass up on the best deals around. R&J Trailers in Longview and online at rnjtrailers.com. We've got the hookup.
All right, welcome back as we get ready to start the 4th quarter. Question posed on Facebook about, are we going to stream playoff games? Well, we'll explain it as we go here. Let's start with the 1st down play on this new drive, and there's Jonathan Lee, who gets greeted in the backfield and dropped for a yard loss by Donovan Sciardos. It'll be 2nd down and 11. So the answer to the question is maybe. And here's what I mean by maybe.
See, I'd have said yes and no.
Well, it's maybe. The 1st round game, if all things go the way they're supposed to, we're going to host the 1st round game at Longview, and we'll be able to do that game. The problem starts to become, as the games start moving into the Metroplex or down into Houston, that larger organizations that have contracts with the state UIL then take precedent over us, the local guys. And so they'll be able to take over doing games if they choose they want to do the Lobo game that week. If they choose there's a better game that they see for their fan base, they may pass on the game and say, you guys can do it this week. We never know from week to week where we're going to be and what the matchup's going to be, and usually it'll take a Monday or Tuesday before we find out on the week of a Friday playoff game if we're going to be allowed to do the game that week or not.
And if the Lobos continue to be #1 in the state, one would assume they're very attractive to the other organizations.
You would think. All right, 3rd down coming up. How about another run up the middle? There's Steverson, who goes to the 40-yard line for a 1st down.
Talked about earlier, Steverson's got the broad shoulders on him. He can really hit it between those tackles. And Washington's work may be done for the night. Allen may be doing a lot of handing off here for another drive, and then Tutton will probably get the rest of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you would think that probably it's going to be a lot of ground out the clock here to end this fourth quarter. First down at the 40.
I say that Hale goes over there without any safety help.
No, maybe not. Maybe we'll go ahead and throw. Allen back to pass. Stop and start. He's trying to go deep. Wright's back there, and he overshot him by about 4 yards.
Yeah, he really had his choice that time. Hale broke away early. Wright was broken away. Wright seemed to have spun out a little bit and didn't get a full breakaway on him, but he was open for a moment. You say, why do you do that? Well, you do that because Allen struggled a little in the first half throwing the football. You're trying to get your timing down.
Freddie Hawkins in the game now, number 7, split out wide right. Reese is near side, back to the ground they'll go. Steverson up the middle for 5-6 yards, and it'll be 3rd down and 4.
Steverson doing exactly what we described earlier. When he gets the opportunity, he runs with true passion, and that time he blew off a defender or two before they got him down.
9:30 left to play in the ball game. 42-14 the score. Lobos got out to a 14-0 lead early. It was a first half of a couple of guys. Calvin Washington with 100 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Billy Smith with 4 sacks in that first half. They were really the story on both sides. Hawkins in motion. He'll hand off to Steverson instead, trying to drag a man with him to the 50, and he's going to be just shy of the line to make, which is the 50-yard line. It'll be 4th down and short, it looks like.
One would think John King would go for this and have full faith in his defense. That for some reason they're not able to pick up this half yard, that his defense will bail him out. Talked about the unscored upon streak in the fourth quarter this year. They're unable to pick up this first. That would make it a little difficult for the Lobos to keep that going.
That's true. Tyler up 14-0 over West Mesquite right now. 4th down short. Oh boy, Steverson hitting I don't know if he got to the 50-yard line. The linesman's coming over here.
Yeah, the line judge gives it to him. Then I think the head linesman on the far side says no. Let's see which mark they go with. I think they let the head linesman look at.
Yep, they went the other direction with it. Didn't get it. Well, that was a bit surprising. Normally you tell me you're going to give Steverson a head of steam and he needs to get a yard, and it wasn't even a yard. It's like half a yard. He couldn't get there. So the Lobos will turn it over with 8:22 left to play. They're up 42-12, but you're right now. The Stallions have the ball on the Lobos side of the 50-yard line, trying to break a string that the Lobos have established of not giving up a point for 6 straight weeks in this fourth quarter. 1st down and 10. North Mesquite with the football. Luke Cedar to the ground. And boy, I'll tell you what, one guy to beat hanging on is Brendan Reese, who's checked into the game. He doesn't hang on. That may be a 6-point play for the Stallions, as 30 is Michael Gibson, the second back. He had a head of steam going. Instead, he picks up 4.5.
Starter still in on defense here for Longview. By the way, at the 6A level, Mesquite Horn up on Tyler Legacy 21-16 in the 3rd.
2nd down and 6. Clock running, coming up on 7.5 minutes left to play. Looking for Russell. Oh, got a wide open man. That's caught at the 35-yard line as Jaqueline Caraway broke loose. Gets the 1st down inside the 30 to the 32-yard line.
We mentioned Caraway earlier, backup quarterback. He plays a little bit of slot flanker type back. Tell you what, beginning to knock at the door. The Lobo defense, if they want to keep the scoreless fourth quarter streak alive, we're going to have to step up and make a play.
They'll check Gibson, or keep him in the game, number 30. He's actually the backup tailback. The two tailbacks combined have picked up just over 300 yards this season. Just to give you an idea, Taylor Tatum, who's not here today, has already run for 752 yards. And we told you about Walker from McKinney North. He's run for almost 1,300 yards. Cedar going for the end zone, intercepted. Budicarrot, did he get a foot in? Nope. Said he was out of bounds.
That's been the story all night. So close to picking those balls off. That time it was the out of bounds stripe that got them, but just haven't been able to get one tonight. 2 or 3 have hung up in the air and given them opportunities. That would have killed this drive.
2nd down and 10, 6:32 left. It really is what the Lobos defense is playing for now. They're trying to keep a pretty impressive string going.
Well, both units of starters are still on the field.
Cedar claps his hand, ready. Handoff up the middle, nothing doing. Blown up from the get-go. And that was Caden Brooks who got in there first and just disrupted that whole thing. Loss of 2 back to the 34-yard line.
Granville's going to come back in. It's basically bringing in an extra safety. One less linebacker is going off. Is going to be Julius McGee. This is the moments that this defense is built for. 3rd and 13.
Oh, yeah. Let me rush. Where's Rugeley? Where's Shepard? Where's Smith? Here they come. They got a little bit of time. Holding penalty is going to be called. Cedar's going to get away from one defender. Nope, does not. Chase Smith got him at the 30-yard line, but this one's coming back 10 yards.
Talk about Cedar's athleticism. He got to show a little bit there. You were calling rows, said, where are those guys at? Well, they all convened in the backfield.
Yeah. White Hats, little conference there with the head linesman. Let's see how they're going to call this. And John King's got a little decision to make. See if he declines it and forces 4th down. Nope, he wants a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, because of the distance there. He doesn't want to give him a shot at a field goal. Cedar had a decent gain on the play, about 5 yards. They're going to take that off the board. If you're wondering why this penalty is so big, it's because it's a spot foul. He was well behind the line of scrimmage where he threw the flag.
Well, no, I mean, they marked it out the 44-yard line. 10-yard penalty from the line.
I guess it is a bit about a 10-yard.
So 3rd down and 22 now. They've got to get all the way up to the 22-yard line. 5:33, clock starts rolling again. Here's the 3rd down play. Cedar setting up a deep throw, and again, Willie Nelson's back there. He's going to get the pick.
Yeah.
Willie won't drop it this time. He'll get the interception. He's down at the 7-yard line, and the defense does its job and keeps him out of the end zone, and Willie gets pick number 4 on the season.
Yeah, with 5:21 left in a blowout, both teams are still playing their starters. Longview didn't want to give up the second half shutout and continue to blank folks in the 4th quarter. And North Mesquite wanted to put more points on the board, so nice little series of play there that time. We'll see if Tutt comes out to hand the ball off, or because of the field position, Allen comes back out.
Well, the Lobos defense had given one away. The offense had given one away. Willie Nelson had a fumble earlier. Now he takes it back, and we got an injured man down. Caden Bowers, the offensive lineman, back at around the 50-yard line, as they tend to him with 5:21 left to play in this game. So Willie giveth and Willie taketh away.
Well, he was due, and that time he just played a deep center field, and it was an overthrown pass. He was really the only one that could make a play on it. It wasn't one like he'd had previously where he was going to have to break on the ball. That time he didn't break on the ball. He just waited on the ball, and it came right to him.
Bowers, a big guy, got up to his feet, and he's walking out holding that right hip. But he walked off under his own. You always worry about a big guy down like that, but the 320-pound Caden Bowers got up and walked off on his own, so that's a great sign.
Yeah, it's not going to be for him in the morning when he wakes up and that hip sore.
Yeah. Well, I can attest that I got that now. I didn't get hit.
Really?
I wake up my hip sore.
What, you had a replacement?
It was old. 1st down, back to the ground go the Lobos. Good for 5. Jonathan Lee in for the carry. And again, a little late extracurriculars. Yeah. Both sides getting a little chippy right now, or chippier. Let's see, they'll mark ball to 15, so 6-yard gain for Jonathan. 2nd and 4 up and coming. An interception for Willie, by the way, is 4th of this season. He had 8 last year, so 12 for the junior cornerback.
Got offers from a whole lot of folks.
He's going to get a lot more. Under 4:45 left to play. To the ground again. Lee trying to spin, kind of spun into defenders, pushes forward, and he'll be very close to that 19-yard line he needs for a 1st down.
Right now, the intention is to run the ball and run the clock.
And he gets the 1st down, so they'll get to do it a few more times. 4:22 left to play in this one. The 12 points that the Lobos have given up today is one shy of the 13 Lancaster got. That's the most in the season. McKinney Boyd got 10. Marshall got 11. Shutout to Legacy. 7 for Lufkin. 13 for Lancaster. 7 for Forney last week. And 12 for the Stallions of North Mesquite. Handoff to Soto as he goes across the 25 to the 26 and gains 7 more.
Yeah, it's really been a tough defense. They don't like to give up points. Tonight, 2 big plays, really all they gave up. Both of them long pass plays. One of them was a little slip screen that let him get away. The other one was just a long pass play they completed right before the half.
That, if it stays like it is right now, will mean the Lobos have given up still 8 second half points and none in the fourth quarter. Allen to the ground again. Whoa, ball fumbled and lost. And just as we say it, how about a mid-air pickoff of the fumble and taken for a touchdown? 14 is Fajon Gilliard, the safety, and forget everything we just talked about.
Yep, because the offense is giving one up. It just was a circumstance where he never got a hold of the thing from the handoff. He kind of juggled it through the line of scrimmage. And the next thing you knew, it just popped right out of his hands into the air, and the Stallion picks it off and took off.
Yeah, well, the defense, I'm sure, is going to have to let the offense hear about it this week. We had a perfect streak going, and you guys gave up 6 points.
18 points. It'll look like the Stallions really had a good night offensively.
Well, they had 2 good plays.
Little misleading, the points on the board.
Well, a weird turn of events, and there goes your. And I know we're getting grief already that we jinxed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on you.
That's like talking about a no-hitter. You talk about a no-hitter before it's over, and then they come back at you.
I'm gonna go along with the laws of probability. At some point, you're gonna give up a fourth quarter score.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the young man who made the play, he's limping back to the sideline.
Yeah, well, it was a long run. It's late in the game. Here comes the point after try. That one is up, and it's good. 42-19 to score, 3:09 left to play, and we'll just stay here during the interlude.
We appreciate you joining us tonight as the Lobos should have done nothing to tarnish their #1 ranking, and they should be back on top of the rankings again this week. We talked about a while ago postseason. It's beginning to be that time of year where you talk about it. Looks like this is going to be the district champion. The game tonight between Forney and Lancaster will probably determine the second place, and I would expect Lancaster is probably still on top of that.
I'm sorry, we're getting abused.
You should.
They're getting abused. 42-19 the score.
Well, when Willie made his interception, I thought they had sidestepped the possibility of another score.
I know. I'm feeling bad right now. But we're trying to give you information as it's going on.
Yeah, most people wouldn't even have been aware of such a streak had you not shared it with them.
I know. That's just how it works.
Lonview with their hands team out there in anticipation of an onside kick here.
Here's what we've got for the district right now. And they haven't updated some scores in a while. Tyler's still up 14-0 over West Mesquite. Forney up 35-6, but they haven't updated that score since halftime.
Forney up?
Excuse me, Lancaster up 35-6. Sorry about that. And McKinney North trailing Lufkin 38-28. That's just as the fourth quarter is getting started. That kick rolls out of bounds with 3:09 left. So those are the latest scores that we have. Unfortunately, they just have not updated the scores very much. We're updating the scores to this game more than they're updating any of the other scores in the district apparently tonight. But anyway, that's where we are. 3:09 left. 42-19 the score after the point after made by the Stallions.
Anything else you can put some bad juju
no,
on
I'm
this
not
side?
No.
Tonight,
Nope. Don't talk to me.
Penalty on Lonview.
I think we did. Yep.
Sure what the call was there, but they're going to mark it from where it went out of bounds, so that's a pretty tough call for Lonview.
Out to the 6-yard line. I think they caught him with the half the distance thing. So Longview's going to start at the 6 with 3:09 left as they try to work out the streak here, or work out the string of the last 3 minutes of this.
There is no streak
ball
anymore.
Game. No.
You took care of that. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Your work here is done.
I'll be honest with you. The kind of power you get with that kind of thing, it's intoxicating. All right, first down at the 6-yard line. Back to the ground go the Lobos, and they'll go for a couple. Lean forward for 2-3 yards. 2nd down and 8 coming up.
Yeah, and if you wonder why Jordan Allen's still out there, the field position has necessitated it. Don't want to have a mishap here late. He's going to be handing the ball off. We'll be very surprised if he decides to air one out, but Jordan is going to basically just take care of the football here.
Gain of a couple. 2nd down and 8 now for the Lobos. Clock rolling, 2:25 and counting.
Content to run some time off the clock right now. They'll probably take it down under 10 seconds.
Well, I don't know if they reset the play clock very accurately, but there's still 20 seconds on the play clock. So they're going to let that just roll off there.
John King's got both hands out there. Wait.
We're in no hurry. And, of course, you're North Mesquite. You're not either. You're not going to call anything. All right, with 2-1, now they take a timeout. So they didn't even bother running the play. They just took the whole play clock down. 1:55 left to play now.
And if you say, why do you do that? Well, you do that to make sure you have plenty of time on the reset to execute your play. You don't want to be rushing around, coming to the line, but you've maxed out the amount of time you can take off the clock. John King is one of those guys who never turns it off before the end of a half or end of the ball game. He continues coaching to the very end.
All right, next week we're back at Lobo. We'll have a 7:30 kickoff start time. We'll do pregame at 7:15 up in the booth. I'm imagining that Morgan and the gang will be down on the field probably around 6:15 as they get a chance to visit with Coach King and others. Oh, you're pointing to me. It'll be me, apparently. Morgan's not going to be here. But apparently the guy that's got to drive a couple hours is going to be there. So
well, that's you, my friend.
Oh, I know. So
well, let's try to show up a little bit earlier next week, could you? There's really no excuse to come in as late as you did today.
Yeah. Well, traffic in Rockwall was not fun today.
I had to go through the same traffic. I was here in plenty of time.
I understand.
I think you need to plan better.
All right, 2nd down and 8. Back to the ground to Jose Soto to the 10-yard line where it'll be 3rd down.
Continue to run the ball and run the clock as look down there with 1:40 left to go here and about 30 seconds left on the play clock.
All right, Lobos with 1:30-ish left will run their record to a still unbeaten 7-0, and they will be 4-0 in district play, which is actually the important number. We like the number 1 ranking, but you want the number 1 seed coming out of this district, and 4-0 puts you in catbird seat for that spot. 3rd down, handoff up the middle and falling across the 15-yard line, and with a 1st down is Steverson, and with that, the Lobos will probably snap the ball one more time, and that should do it.
Kudos to these backup running backs tonight. We mentioned early on that we've got conflicting reports, injuries, illness, whatever, but Taylor Tatum and Elijah Johnson, the leading rushers for this ball club, didn't suit up to participate tonight, and these backups have come in here and did yeoman's duty this evening.
You're not kidding. How about some stats where they're going to snap the ball 1 or 2 more times? Lobos 18 first down to 7 for the Stallions. 214 yards on the ground for Longview, -30 for North Mesquite. 4 of 11 passing tonight for Longview, but for 151 yards. So add them together, you get 365 yards of total offense. On the other side, 8 of 16 for 200 yards passing. So Total offense for the Stallions is 170 yards. Individually tonight, big games for a handful of guys wearing green and white. Kelvin Washington, 13 carries, 102 yards and 3 touchdowns to lead the way. Steverson had 9 carries for 56 yards. Soto 6 for 38. Jonathan Lee had 5 carries for 15 yards. Passing the football, Jordan Allen 4 of 11, 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 of those catches by Jalen Hale for 80 yards and 1 score. The other 2 went to Kelvin Washington, 71 yards and 1 score as well.
Both teams meet at the midfield to exchange low fives, not the high fives. And it is another win for the Lobos. This one a road victory as they continue to look the part of the #1 ranked team in the state of Texas.
This game started out fast for Longview. They got a 5-yard touchdown run from Kelvin Washington. Actually, the second of his runs, I actually don't have on my score thing the first one, but he got 2 touchdowns in the first quarter to make it a 14-0 lead. Cordell Russell with an 84-yard reception early in the second quarter to make it 14-6 as they missed their point after. Kelvin Washington with his 3rd touchdown run of the half. He goes in to make it a 21-6 lead. Tadarian Boone had a 30-yard fumble recovery that he took for a touchdown, ripped it out of Russell's hands for the fumble recovery touchdown. That made the score 21-6. Russell got a 17-yard pass right before the half to make it a 28-12 ball game at halftime. Third quarter, Kelvin Washington, 65-yard touchdown reception from Jordan Allen. And then Jalen Hale caught a 30-yard touchdown from Allen as well. Fourth quarter, no points except for the fumble recovery from Fajon Gilliard. 26 yards for the score for North Mesquite. Final score, 42-19.
Good, clean evening. Like I say, missing 2 top runners and never missed a beat. And a little bit of mistakes in the first half. I'm sure Coach King and his staff will continue to clean up as they want them to stay sharp heading towards the playoffs.
All right. Well, you get the win. You got on the road. Pretty much came out healthy. I didn't see anyone banged up. You head back home next week with a chance to run the record to 8-0 and really a chance to redeem last season's loss at McKinney North. You get them at Lobo next Friday at 7:30.
Yeah, intriguing matchup. Running team against the Lonview defense. We'll see how the Lobos handle that.
We're done for tonight. For Frank Sides, for Tony Kirk, I'm Chuck Zach. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight on Facebook and on YouTube, and we'll see you next Friday.